The video game industry needs to crash by some ordinary gamers.
Hello, guys and gals. Me,
What up?
Mudahar, and I personally think video gaming should have a little bit of a crash based on some of the stuff that I've read. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of assumptions. GTA 6 might cost $100. Analysts think it's a bad idea. Now, you don't need to be a genius to remind people that charging up video games is not something the audience or the gaming public is necessarily excited about. But to give you an idea, I'm not really all that shocked. I was looking at this IGN poll, which is not like super duper shocking, okay? It's not scientific material. I think out of like a few thousand or several thousand voters, at least 30% were like, yeah, sure, I'm willing to pay some more. With a few percent left going, we'll see on the trailer. But at the end of the day, all right, AAA gaming is in this kind of weird spot where I feel like most people are just buying cash shops for the most part. Like if you're a sports gamer and you buy like Madden every year, God forbid, NBA every year, God forbid, you're probably also buying a like a storefront where you put the game in, install it, patch it, whatever, and then on top of the $60 you already spent or $70, whatever, you might be enticed by some microtransactions.
Here's what I will say about GTA being $100 or even $150. I personally, here's what I think we as gamers take for granted. The quality of a good game is worth so much more than $60 or $70 nowadays. Like, do we understand how many hours we throw into games sometimes? Chat, we've been playing Path of Exile 2 a lot lately. First off, the game's in early access. It's not even out yet. And it's $30 for early access. And when it's fully out, it's free. And the thousands of hours of fun you can have in a game where it's $60 or $70 is kind of insane. Like, that's not too much to ask. I really don't think it is. I think it's too much to ask if the game is a pile of dog shit. I think that's too much to ask. But when we're talking about genuinely good games, don't assume a game is good because of the high price. No, I'm just saying, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying just because a game is good, it should cost more. I'm saying if a game company spends the time that Rockstar has spent on a game like GTA 6, if it is truly as big as they say it's going to be, if it truly is as good as they say it's going to be, I think it's absolutely worth $100 or $150. I would have no problem paying that. The thousands of hours of fun you can have and the thousands of hours of entertainment you're going to get out of that. Dude, video games, it's unique because it's an industry that is unlike any other. Dude, I with me and my wife went and saw a movie the other day, you know, including popcorn and then the movie tickets and stuff like that. It was like $25, right? To see a 2-hour movie. Dude, so you're telling me I can play a video game for 2 movies, $50. We'll say 3 movies, $75, right? We'll say 3 movies, $75. So we're talking 3 movies. Let's say they're 2 hours long each. That's 9 hours. I'm actually retarded, okay? Let me scratch that. So you're saying if I went and saw 3 movies, okay, that's 6 hours long. Let's say they're 2 hours each. That's 6 hours long. And each one is $25. That's $75. That's 6 hours of entertainment. And if I spent $75 on a good video game, I mean, that's put hundreds, potentially thousands of hours of entertainment. And probably better than movie entertainment, too. It's like an industry where it's like your dollar per hour of fun ratio is unlike any other industry ever. To go out and do a simple activity that is really fun costs so much more than video games do. And video games are more fun. I don't know. I think we as gamers get a little too nitpicky when it comes to this sort of a thing. There's a time and a place. Microtransactions, the problem with those, games giving us, or companies giving us games that literally aren't even finished yet, absolutely. But like when we're talking, you know, people getting mad about GTA maybe being $100 or $150, if it is good enough, that should absolutely be worth it. JDO, you're sounding like a CEO right now. I am not sounding like a CEO right now. I'm sounding like a basic human being. I think we should reward companies, financially speaking, that give us good products and projects. If they're working on a project, Rockstar, for 10 years, which they are with GTA 6, if it really is going to be as good as they say it is, I think we should reward them more than a standard $60 price tag. I think they try to balance a good paying price with a comfortable selling price for people so they can maximize purchases. I agree. I think, Weedus, that might have been the most educated thing I've actually ever heard you say. That was a very well put together sentence. Was that AI? Did you put that into ChatGPT? I don't think you are capable of stringing together a sentence like that. But no, I guess my point is, like, if the game genuinely is good, I think it is worth it. There's like, dude, a game that took a developer a year to make probably isn't worth $100 at all. But a game that took a developer 10 years to make, it might be. Like Baldur's Gate 3, dude. Knowing now the quality of that game and how good it is, I understand why they didn't make it $100, but if they asked for $100 for that game, I think that's fair. Baldur's Gate 3 was absolutely phenomenal. Now, if they had done that out of the gate, it probably wouldn't have been as big as it was. Not as many people would have found out about it, but like knowing what I know now, I think it would be worth it to pay $100 for that game. I really do. That's the point I'm trying to make. Just because they struck gold with old GTA games doesn't necessarily mean they'll do it again, so I'll wait before buying. See, that's the other thing. Again, I don't blame you for that. But assuming that the quality is there, I think it is worth it. That's all that I'm trying to say. Assuming that the quality is there, I think it's not crazy for game companies to ask for $100 worth when they're about to give us a game that we're going to sink thousands of hours into. That's not a crazy asking price, but it has to be a good game. That's all I'm saying.
So it's always weird to me when I see just how much AAA gaming tries to nickel and dime its audience, to the point where I am physically disgusted sometimes, where like, you know, you buy a game for $60-$70 and it's like, whoa, you want me to spend more on top of it for what? Like skins?
Exactly. I agree with that.
That's the world we live in.
I
and
agree
it's
with
kind
that.
of normalized.
Especially a bad game like Madden. Oh, I've been playing the same fucking game for 10 years now, and now you want me to pay microtransactions? See, that is ridiculous. 60 to 70 is still my max, though. I mean, for the base version of a game, not a deluxe or gold or whatever. Deluxe and gold editions of games are stupid in my opinion anyways. To get access to GTA 6 is $100, but GTA 6 is literally the greatest gaming experience you've ever had. Totally worth it. Absolutely worth it, in my opinion.
100 USD to at least my Canadian currency is $143.75 as of right now. Now, to give you an idea, that's a lot of money, okay? But that's not all you're paying, all right? So if I go to the Canada sales tax calculator, which I think is also important, you shouldn't just look at the base price. If I take that $143.75 and I decide, yeah, I'm going to throw that into my province, calculate it, not only do I have to pay like $7.19 federal, I have to pay $11.50 provincial. All that comes up to $162.44.
Jeez, dude. That's just living in Canada. That's a skill issue, living in Canada. Canada sucks. Chat, there's a lot, anything political aside, y'all know I do not get political, okay? I do not get political. I hate getting political. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Objectively speaking, the tax in Canada is outrageous. It is so fucking bad. It's actually insane. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Now, if you think the average person, heck, even somebody that's well off is going to think, yeah, that new game, it's worth paying $162 for, you're fucking insane.
True.
Now, I know there's a lot of defenses out here, but Muda, what if you put 100 hours into a game? Think about the price to hour ratio. There's very few games that I think people are putting 100 hours into. Maybe something like Monster Hunter, maybe something like Cyberpunk, games that come once in a while. And you might be like, well, wouldn't GTA 6 be worth $100, Mood? I mean, you're clearly excited for it, and it's going to be a generational defining game, which, again, mind you, I don't jump into the hype cycle, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that GTA 6 is going to be a win right off the bat. But the thing about it is like, if GTA 6 is priced to $100, the biggest fear that people have is, whoa, other game companies might think, oh shit, I might price to $100 as well.
That's true. That's something I didn't even think about when I was telling you guys my little spiel right there. Yeah, it would incentivize other companies to do the same thing for a product that isn't even quality. And then when your base price rises, that's when there's a problem. I didn't even think about that, dude, because if GTA does that and they're successful with it, dumbass companies like Activision are going to think that they can do it too. And then your base $60, $70 price goes up to $100 instead. I did not even think about that.
Rockstar's doing it, I might. So if one company makes a great game that may be worth that money, or that price tag, all of a sudden you've got all the fucking Ubisofts and the Activisions.
Yeah, I did not
considering
think about that.
to also price the same. Could you imagine paying $162 Canadian, by the way? I'm just speaking to the Canadian audience here. For Call of Duty, a game that's already in a death spiral right now? No, okay? $162? You fucking insane? Then you come home, you patch the game, you install it, you run it, and it's like, oh wait, hold on, you want to spend like $34 on the Black Cell bundle?
On the Black Cell bundle.
It's like you buy a game and then you realize, well, it wants me to spend about as much as I'm spending on like the base console that I'm playing this on, for crying out loud. No, that's not a world that's normal. And if anybody talks about a gaming crash, that's literally it. Now, I don't think gaming is going to crash like it did back in the 80s, you know, where like everyone was flooding the market with like cheap ripoffs of everyone's games. No. I think the gaming industry may crash in the AAA sense because people will realize, I'm not paying that money. I'm not paying $162.
I think AAA gaming is just going to be revamped. Maybe this is way too wishful thinking for me. Maybe I'm way too wishful. I think that AAA gaming is going to change in the sense. I think a lot of people are going to get fired. There's going to be a lot of downsizing. I think profit margins are going to look different for like Activision and those other big companies. I think indie games, they're already taking over unlike anything we've seen before. The last couple of years, indie games have been like this, and AAA games have been like this. AAA games still make money, of course. Call of Duty's the most played game every year and the most bought game every year, but I think it's going to start slowing down to a point where these AAA studios are going to start to realize, like, okay, the time of us just getting easy money is kind of over. Creating good games is too easily accessible for indie devs. Like, dude, before it was hard for indie devs to fucking make a game, but now there's so many tools and resources where that if you know what you're doing, you can make a good game. And so I think it's going to get to a point where these AAA companies are just going to be like, okay, it's no longer going to be easy money for us anymore. We need to start delivering quality unless we want it all to literally tank entirely. And they are going to actually finally start delivering quality. And it's just going to take longer. It's going to take longer to get new games. Like Rockstar right now, like takes forever to get a game from them, but they're going to give us good games finally. And they're going to start listening to audiences. Maybe that's way too wishful thinking of me, but I really do think that the tides are turning. I do think that big AAA studios are starting to see the work that indie game devs are doing, and they're going to be like, all right, not EA though. Yeah, EA is going to go under though. I think that's going to be the choice. Either you go under or you conform to what we, the consumer, want. Those are your two options. Either you take a step back in your profits, and instead of making $10 billion in profit a year, you're going to make $1.5 billion in profit every year. Or do you want to make no profit and crash? You know, unless big corporates change, pirating will increase until bankruptcy. That's what I hope. I hope pirating does increase until bankruptcy, dude.
So the big budgets that have been bloated up in these entire companies, which, by the way, is, in my opinion, probably a bit of mismanagement if we really had to audit their books. Ooh, hold on. I'm getting a call. I think it's Rockside. Oh, hold on a minute. Sorry, that was my lawyer contacting me, telling me I should shut my goddamn mouth before any of these companies send their hitmen after me. But you know what? This is where I'm going to tell legal to go fuck themselves, because the gaming community, because the AAA gaming manufacturers love to fuck their budgets and me. See, the thing is, I feel like there's a lot of mismanagement of money there. And, you know, with the amount of layoffs that happen, like, you can make a game of the goddamn year and somehow find yourself laid off. I have no sympathy to any of the ballooning game budgets. I really think if nobody is purchasing their games, and of course their budgets keep going up, that's the crash on that end. But there's plenty of independent games that are in the industry right now as we're speaking. Like, there's tons of games you'll find on Steam or even on the consoles for like $20 that probably are worth more of your hours spent and for a more respectful price. I don't ever think the independent games market is going to die. But I think that AAA gaming industry may need to start looking into AA games or fixing its like budget problems. But we're kind of jumping beyond the veil over here. When it comes to a lot of these games, a lot of this information has sort of come out from one of this like research papers, so this presentation from Epilion, okay, where it's a 223 page like actual like research paper. And the thing is, it's like, this is not an actual bad like research. They actually go into a lot of aspects of gaming in the economy of gaming itself, right? Like, they touch upon other countries like China, they touch upon the mobile gaming storefront, they touch upon things like the GPU shortage, they touch upon things like the pandemic, for instance, and the effect it's had on gaming. And the reality is, a lot of the gaming industry, apparently according to this, and a rumor is that the actual like big wigs in the entire space hope that if Rockstar is producing a $100 game, everyone can just sneak up their prices to that point.
Oh, I hope
Which
not.
I really personally don't think it's actually going to fly. Like, yes, games have gotten more expensive, right? Like, games used to be a flat $60, and with the start of the PS4 generation, they jumped to like $70, then $80. But if they jump to like $100 and it really feels like the quality of the game is not matching that $100 across the board, That's what I think will cause the crash. Do you honestly believe that GTA 6 will be equivalent to every year's Call of Duty or every year's 2K
exactly,
or
bro.
whatever? But the thing is, the gaming market, the problem is, like, I have complained about shitty gaming practices, but the reality is, like, there's a whole chunk of gamers that obviously are not watching this video, or they're not even on YouTube. They're just people that play video games. And the gaming industry for the last, like, year has kind of been, like, toying with them a little bit. Like, hey, you guys want to play a game like 4 days earlier? Buy the gold edition for like $20 more. Like, it's actually a serious practice that's been occurring, and you've probably noticed it with some pretty big budget games.
I have fallen prey to it, chat, numerous times. I get too excited. I don't want to wait, and so I buy the early edition so that I can stream it and hang out with you guys and play it early. And then we realize it sucks. Diablo 4, chat. I haven't even opened the game in over a year, and I bought the $100 edition to play it early.
So literally for 4 days early access, which might be worth it for some people, people are throwing an extra 20 of the company, or they're buying the gold edition. It used to be the gold edition would probably include like a season pass. No, sometimes it's just, hey, you get to play the game like a couple days earlier. So no real actual tangible gain other than the release date literally shifted back for people that are paying $20 more. It is just insane how like these practices are coming in, and it really feels like for the game we're getting, it's like the price will go up, but the actual content provided in each and every single game, or at least the AAA side, does not reflect what they're actually charging. There's such a great variance. Like, you could play a game that's like maybe 15, 20 hours in like actual gameplay length, and then there will be games with like 100 hours, like actual content provided in them for the same price. I think this is one of the biggest issues when it comes to the games industry. But honestly, a $100 game that's going to come out may actually crash that AAA side. And part of me wishes the game industry will try it. Because I think, and again, like there's other analysts that look at this, this industry will not survive if every single game is priced that high. First off, it's already bad. Inflation sucks, okay? There's two. Inflation is bad, all right? Not in the Sonic community, but in the economic community. We've got people that literally are living more and more paycheck to paycheck as time goes on.
They can't spend $100 on a damn game, chat.
People are probably going to be more interested in getting bread, butter, and eggs and meat in their house if they can, instead of spending that like real grocery level money on an actual video game.
Yeah, dude, I mean, $100 is a decent chunk of groceries, you know?
Make people buy video games less and less and less. Like, to be honest with you, this is where it's all kind of shifted to. So to be honest, I kind of really welcome if like Activision, Ubisoft, a lot of these companies try it, because to be fair, I don't think they're going to be successful.
I hope they're not. I think if they did push it, dude, it would, like, people literally couldn't buy it. It wouldn't be that they don't want to and they're choosing. I don't think people could buy it. That's the problem.
Only thing, like, where a crash occurs and these guys actually have to scale back their production and like really audit what they're doing. Because I think it's getting too far. Video game prices have jumped to this like extreme zenith, and there really isn't anything that's trying to kneecap them at the moment. But yeah, this is kind of what I think, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, dude, I kind of agree with him. I hope it does crash. W Video, some ordinary gamers, W. Yeah, I mean, I kind of already touched on basically everything that he said, but I hope they try it. I hope they try it. I hope they crash. I hope there's a hard reset and we go back to creativity rather than our main objective being to make money. Our main objective is to make a good product that people actually enjoy, that we enjoy making, and the money will follow. So, anyways, W Video, let's move on.